Time for a quick unboxing. We've got a Mamod locomotive in. It's a Mamod Stirling and it's a live steam 16mm to the foot locomotive. Comes in a nice solid box that says Mamod on it and Stirling on the front cover. So we'll open it up here and we've got some instructions. This is very important actually to read the instructions that come with these things. Bear in mind this is a real working live steam locomotive. There is fire, there is gas, there is hot water, there is pressure. So just pay attention. It's not like just putting a loco on a track. Inside, the locomotive is well packed in polystyrene, and I'll just slide the box out like that. Chuck that on the floor, and as you can see, there we have it. Inside the box, we have a funnel for filling it up with water. We have some oil. We have some, let's see what's in the little bag that we've got here. We've got a cab back. The reason that's left off will be explained later. We have some lubrication oil and we have some steam oil. Really important to use the right oils with live steam locomotives. There is a back-to-back gauge in a little plastic packet, a couple of Mamod badges and some chain to use as couplings. The back-to-back gauge is important because the locomotive can be used on either 32 or 45mm track, and so you may well need to alter the wheels. There is a little syringe. This is for taking water out of the boiler. And finally, tucked down in the bottom of the packaging is a gas valve. You're going to use this for putting gas into the tank of the locomotive. You screw a sort of camping style propane cylinder, the sort of ones that are about so long. Screw that into there, and that gives you a nozzle that you can then push into the locomotive for filling it up. And then most importantly, there is the Stirling locomotive, and it is heavy because this locomotive, which is live steam, and it is made in Birmingham, so this is a proper British product, no Chinese engineering in here. This is your live steam locomotive now, so got a bit of weight to it. Let's have a quick look round. At the front, we have of course a smoke box door. Well, that's a funny angle, you're saying to yourself, and the reason for that is that the smoke box door rotates because you light the locomotive in here. There is a gas burner that runs down the length of the boiler, and you light it at this end, and then you put the smoke box door back on, twist it, and that sealed it. The locomotive is an 040, and one of the nice features is that it's got non-oscillating cylinders. People who remember early Mamods will know that the cylinders waggle backwards and forwards because they oscillate to act as the valve gear as well as powering the locomotive. This one has separate valve gear in the manner of a real steam engine, and so the cylinders don't oscillate in the same way. You can actually see the valve gear. If I turn it on its side and you look underneath, you've got slip eccentric valve gear here. Lots of polystyrene packaging still sitting there, but you can see this thing is made of metal. No messing around here. Moving on along the locomotive, we have nice shiny brass dome. Get your brass out for that one, and the all-important safety valve, because this is a proper working steam boiler, so it's a pressure vessel. The safety valve should unscrew, and the reason it unscrews is because you put the water in the boiler through the safety valve hole. What you do is you fill it up, and then once you've filled it up, you remove some of the water using the syringe, and that gives you an air gap at the top of the boiler, so that there's room there for the steam. Basically, if you don't leave the air gap, you don't get any steam, and the locomotive doesn't move. Moving on round to the back, the cab roof slides off, and we can see the controls. We've got the gas burner control here that allows you to alter just how much gas is being burnt. The regulator arm here, so that you've got speed control over the locomotive. That is actually the gas burner in there going down the boiler. This regulator arm, you notice, has actually got holes in it. That would allow you to put radio control onto this, so you could, at the moment the locomotive is manually controlled, so you've got to chase it around the track, but you can also put a radio system in, so you can stand there or sit in your deck chair with a pint of beer beside you and operate your locomotive. Moving on round to the side, we have the oil vessel. You need to top that up, and also the pressure gauge, which at the moment is reading nothing, but once you're working, the locomotive runs at about 40 to 45 psi. It is ready to run. It's about current prices. This, according to Mamod, this is 660 quid's worth of locomotive. I can take it out. I can. The gas tank is just tucked in here. I can fill it up with gas. I can put the water in. I can put the oil in. You do need to look after these sort of things in the same way you look after a real steam locomotive, because it is a real steam locomotive. So you have to make sure you oil round all the various points. The cab back just clips on the back there to make it look more attractive, but of course, you know, you might want to get at the various controls in there. And so there we have it, a proper working steam locomotive, made in Britain, from, you know, a decent chunk of metal. This is the sort of thing you can have running round either your 32 or 45 mil track. It'll run for a decent length of time, pulling a decent length train, and sounding just lovely out in the garden. So there we are. It's out of the box. Next job is I'll have to go away and steam it up and write it up for a future issue of Garden Rail.